You know how sometimes you hear about an old TV show or a song that's just gone, vanished? Well, some pieces of media aren't just lost by accident, they're hidden. Today, we are diving deep into the tapes that were buried for a very, very good reason. The darkest pieces of lost media that were never, ever meant to be found.
So that's the big question, right? Why does this stuff disappear? Is it just, a box got misplaced in a warehouse somewhere, or is something more sinister going on? The stories we're about to get into, well, they suggest that sometimes media gets buried to hide something truly terrible. So what are we even talking about when we say dark, lost media? Look, this isn't about some forgotten cartoon pilot or a commercial that didn't air. This is footage that's so wrapped up in a tragedy, a crime, or something just plain horrifying that its disappearance becomes part of the story. This is media that was intentionally erased, locked away, or hidden from the world.
All right, let's open our first case file. We're going back to the 1980s, to a Christian children's TV show called Joy Junction. And on the surface, it seemed like the most innocent, wholesome program you could possibly imagine. But one of its cast members, a friendly ventriloquist named Ron, was hiding a secret so monstrous it's hard to believe.
Joy Junction was one of those classic local access kids shows. You had a host, this friendly guy called Sheriff Don, and a cast of regulars, including a ventriloquist named Ron Brown and his little puppet, Marty. But here's the thing. If you go looking for old episodes today, you won't find them. It's like the entire show was systematically scrubbed from existence. And this is why. This is the chilling reality behind the scenes. To the public, he was Ron Brown, the guy who made kids laugh with his puppets. But online, in secret, he was Wallaceem. And under that alias, he was part of a criminal network, sharing absolutely horrific fantasies about harming children.
And what's terrifying is how long this was hidden. In the 80s, he's on TV, entertaining children. Then, in 1998, there's a huge red flag. He gets pulled over and the police find boys' underwear in his car. His excuse? They were for his puppets. It wasn't until 2012 that his disgusting chat logs finally caught up with him and he was arrested. He would later die in federal prison in 2020.
This quote, this is from the official case file. This was his actual bio on a necrophilia website, and this is why Joy Junction is lost media. That wholesome show, made with good intentions, was forever stained by the evil that was hiding right there in plain sight. It makes perfect sense why they'd want to erase every last trace of it.
So our next case file takes things a step further. We're not just talking about tapes that have a connection to a crime. We're talking about tapes that are the crime. Recordings of real-life horror so unbelievably graphic that the authorities have basically promised they will never, ever see the light of day.
This absolutely tragic story started so simply, with a Craigslist ad. An 18-year-old pregnant woman, Brooke Slocum, needed money. A man named Brady Ostrike answered the ad, but he lured her and her boyfriend, Charles Openear, to a park. There, he murdered Charles and kidnapped Brooke, taking her back to his house. And this is where it gets even more horrific. Ostrike had cameras set up all through his home. For 5 days, he recorded himself torturing Brooke Slocum before he killed her. When the police eventually found these tapes, they described the footage as something pulled directly from a nightmare. It is now considered lost media indefinitely, locked away, hopefully forever.
Now, on a very different but just as tragic note, there's the case of Christine Chubbuck. She was a news reporter back in 1974, and she was getting really fed up with her station's demand for more blood and guts sensationalism. So, during a live broadcast, she read these chilling words from a script she wrote herself, and then took her own life, right there on the air.
The only known tape of that broadcast was kept by the station owner. It's now reportedly locked away in the vaults of a law firm, never to be seen again. And it brings up a really tough question, right? When footage captures this level of human pain and tragedy, is there any good reason to go looking for it? I mean, should some things just stay lost? Okay, so for our final case, we're shifting gears. This one is less about a known horror and more about a completely bizarre, unsolved mystery. We're talking about a strange piece of footage that was just inserted into a 1980s TV show for no reason at all, leaving behind nothing but very disturbing questions. So picture this. It's a late 80s TV show. Actor Corey Feldman is on stage doing his best Michael Jackson impression while singing his new song. It's kind of cheesy, definitely awkward, but, for the most part, it's just a totally normal piece of 80s television. But then, just for a second, the show's producer cuts away from the performance,
to this. It's this grainy, black and white clip of a woman who's tied up, hands and feet, to a pool table. There's a single light swinging over her, and she looks genuinely scared. It has absolutely zero to do with Corey Feldman's song. So why on earth is it there?
To this day, nobody knows for sure. It's a true internet mystery. The theories are all over the place. Some people think it's just a scene from some obscure old movie. Others think it's something much, much darker, maybe even a clip from a real snuff film. The origin is a complete blank, just a phantom clip hidden in plain sight for decades.
So, after going through these really disturbing cases, you have to ask yourself, why are we so drawn to this stuff? What is it about these dark, forbidden stories that grabs our attention and just doesn't let go?
Maybe our search for this stuff taps into something really fundamental about us. Part of it's the thrill of solving a puzzle, for sure. But maybe it's also about confronting the darker side of our own history. We see a TV station trying to erase the legacy of a predator, or the police vowing to lock away a real-life nightmare, and we feel this need to understand, to bring what was hidden back into the light, no matter how unsettling it might be. Ultimately, looking at these stories forces us to face one last big question. Is our fascination with finding these lost horrors just some morbid curiosity? Or is it a deeper need to make sure that the darkest stories, and maybe more importantly, their victims, are never truly forgotten? What does our search say about us?